What's good, y'all? It's your boy HB. We're flying around in Drive Time Boxing. I apologize for my screen right quick. It's cracked and broken, and I got to get replaced tomorrow. But bear with me, man. Look, I just saw the fight between Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather, the shit show it was. I'm very disappointed in Mayweather. This is a black eye for him and a little bit of the sport of boxing. And I would say that this is essentially a loss for Mayweather in a way. No, did he lose the actual fight? No. But the fact that Logan Paul, what a lot of people just call a YouTuber, and somebody who has only 2 fights on his resume, one of those fights against KSI, who he lost to, went 8 rounds with one of the best boxers of all time. And that is a win in itself for Logan Paul, and that is a loss in a way for Floyd Mayweather. Say what you want about Logan Paul, and you know, a lot of people thought he was hugging throughout the fight and holding on for dear life, which he was to a certain degree. But I also think that was part of his strategy as well. He probably wanted to put some weight on Mayweather, get him worn down or tired. And not only that, but to stifle his offense. But look, you still can't take it away from the kid to go in there and hold his own for 8 rounds against Floyd Mayweather, and he came out looking sharp, looking decent and good. But he made a huge mistake at the end of the first round where he started throwing a bunch of punches and combinations at Mayweather. None of those punches were getting through or landing. But, you know, did he win that first round? Yeah, I think he did with his jab. But he kind of essentially almost emptied his gas tank by throwing all those combinations. And he was probably hyped up. He probably felt good. He came out strong that first round, and he got carried away. And he expended a lot of energy. Even the 8-round fight, you know, you got to pace yourself. So that was a big mistake on his part, and you can see him round after round after round start to get tired, even though I do think he kind of caught a second win later in the fight. Got to give that kid credit, man. Now, that being said, he is essentially a heavyweight. And I know Mayweather, stylistically speaking, he's not a pressure fighter. Well, he used to be back when he was a young blood, but you know, the back end of his career, he was more a counterpuncher going off the back foot. And that's just not his style, man. And when he does put pressure, we saw what he did with Conor McGregor. It wasn't like a skilled type of pressure fighting like you watch Triple G or Julio Cesar Chavez, where they're cutting off the ring and they have subtle head movement, good defense, and good counters and attacking the body. You know, Mayweather is very reckless with his pressure. Well, at least with these last 2 fights. You know, he's kind of just walking in. Not as bad as he did with Conor McGregor. He wasn't as reckless with his distance in this fight. But, you know, Mayweather's he's not a pressure fighter. And that's not his style, to go hunt down his opponent, especially one who's significantly bigger and rangier than him. So you do kind of have to give him a little leeway in the fact that he was facing a heavyweight. But at the end of the day, he's still Logan Paul. And that's a blemish on your resume, man. It's almost like he took his first loss. You can look at the way he was conducting himself after the fight. Mayweather, he sounded like he lost the fight. He sounded defeated. I think it was more so embarrassment that you are Floyd fucking Mayweather and you're letting Logan Paul, you know, hang in there with you. I think he was embarrassed to a certain degree. And I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in Mayweather. He also has to understand he's representing boxing, man. He's representing boxing. The cream of the crop at that, you know, as well. And he's going in there and he's putting on a half-assed performance. He's not really going out there fighting with strategy. I I don't think he took this fight very seriously, and I understand why he didn't take it seriously. But dude, you're gonna, like, how many more matchups like this are you gonna take to where, you know, and then not take it seriously, and you figure out like, oh shit, I'm getting old? Because I think in this fight, Floyd Mayweather, he looked old. And I think even for himself, he sobered up a bit and started to realize his vulnerabilities as a human, that he's getting old. And even going up against the Logan Paul, who's inexperienced, you know, he can't move the way he used to. He can't react the way he used to. And look, it wasn't really the best format for Floyd. I mean, it was only an 8-round fight. And I do believe Floyd would have got him out of there if it was a 10 or 12-round fight. But, you know, Logan being bigger and rangier, essentially a heavyweight, and having the right strategy and approach to the fight, which I said he did exactly what I wanted him to do. I just wish that, you know, he came in better shape, and he utilized maybe that right hook more, a little bit more, and maybe his left hook a little bit more. But, you know, Logan Paul had the perfect game plan. I made a video before the fight saying exactly what Logan Paul should have done, or how he should approach the fight with Mayweather. Like, use your size to make Mayweather come to you. Don't use your size to impose your will or try to knock him out. You make Mayweather come to you. Fight off the back foot. You know, utilize your jab. Keep him at the end of your punches. And that was the key for Logan Paul. And I even said it before the fight as well. Like, just going the distance with Mayweather is a win for you in itself, because you are not a decorated professional boxer, and you just started this sport. So it was definitely a win for Logan Paul, and you can see it. I mean, him and his brother were celebrating like they won, and essentially they did. And Mayweather looked defeated, because essentially he did lose in a sense. But I asked Mayweather, like, how many more freak show fights are you going to take like this until, you know, you run out of luck? Because you are getting older. And not only that, how many more freak show, even if you do win, like say you take 2 more of these with Jake Paul and, I don't know, maybe another weird fight. Like, this is what we're going to remember you by. The what have you done for me lately? And like, we all know that Mayweather doesn't have the most offensive, action-packed style. You're not taking these guys out. Now you're not taking these fighters who are amateur compared to you out. Now it looks bad. It looks bad on your resume. And I get it, man. You're making a ridiculous amount of money to go spar for 8 rounds. I'm not saying, even if Mayweather didn't train a lick for this fight and he didn't take it seriously, and I mean, I can't complain. I would love to go and spar for $20 to $50 million. And so I don't blame him at the end of the day. It makes sense. But I am worried for his brand in the long run, because there is still money to be made with your brand in the long run outside of boxing. But if you fuck off too much and you play these games and you're not taking it seriously, at the end of the day, it's still a fight. You're still going in with somebody who wants to prove themselves, and you could lose, or you put on a shitty performance. Like, nobody's gonna look at you like Floyd Money Mayweather or Pretty Boy Floyd. They're not gonna look at you with the same mystique if you keep on fucking off. And now you're compromising your long-term business, okay, and your brand. So, like, look, I think Mayweather is pretty fortunate that it probably could have been a little bit worse. But if I were him, I would cut this nonsense out. If you're going to do another one, don't fuck off. Take the training seriously. Go in there and take your opponent out, or put on a boxing clinic. Because, dude, I don't want to remember Mayweather with this shit because it's pathetic. You know, if you're, and that's the only thing I'm saying. It's like, dude, you want to take these exhibitions, fine, but don't go in there and half-ass it. Don't go in there and not take your opponent seriously, especially now that you're getting older and older and older, to where you might be getting to a point to where you can't move like you used to. And Father Time is undefeated. You saw it with Bernard Hopkins. God bless Bernard Hopkins. He was beating guys half his age and stealing titles when he was like in his 40s, man. But that last fight he had showed, you know, Father Time is undefeated. And you keep fucking around. You keep on dipping your toe in this boxing game. When it's time to get out, it's going to catch up with you. So I believe this was a loss for Floyd in a sense. And I believe this was a victory for Logan Paul. And I don't care what anybody says. There was actually a moment where Logan Paul clipped Mayweather with a right hook in that fight. And I believe he hurt Mayweather. I really do. You go look at the replay. I think he hurt Mayweather with that right hook. And he came with a brilliant strategy. He thought so differently and uniquely compared to professional boxers with long resumes who went up against Mayweather and took very predictable approaches. Logan Paul was smart, and that's what Floyd Mayweather underestimated. Logan Paul is smart. Smart kid, man. I mean, he goes in there and he says, you know what? I'm not going to go in there and chase Floyd around and try to knock him out within 2-3 rounds or try to land a big shot. I'm going to go in there and try to box him. I'm going to shoot my jab, use my height, my range. And, you know, now was I impressed with his technique? No. Do I think he would be an effective cruiserweight or heavyweight contender? No. I hope he stays out of that world. Do not. Logan Paul, I like him. He's a cool dude, but he doesn't need to pursue a serious boxing career. What he needs to do is focus on facing guys who are smaller, or MMA fighters, or maybe just amateur boxers or celebrities. Stay within that realm. Now, if he continues to get better and better and better, then okay. You know, I could see, maybe I'll entertain him being a contender one day, but I don't see that in the near future. He's really got to be committed to the sport, which I don't know why he would be when you're filthy rich and you just fought Floyd Mayweather. I don't see him being a threat to anybody, even the lower ranks of boxing within the cruiserweight or heavyweight division, not even the light heavyweight division. Hell, not even the middleweight division. He should not fuck with guys, real boxers. You know, he needs to stay in his lane. But nonetheless, I am very impressed. He held his own. Just to be you say what you want. Oh, he hugged his way through. Well, dude, it takes a lot of composure, and he took some brutal shots, some brutal hooks, some brutal crosses to the head. It takes a lot of composure to stay in there and go all 8 rounds. I mean, this format did not favor Mayweather, with the exception of the decision at the end, not having a decision at all at the end, which was kind of lame. But you don't understand, man. To go in there with one of the best fighters of all time and to hold your own for 8 rounds, that's impressive, man. Even if he was holding on for dear life, most of you motherfuckers would be getting knocked out within a short span of time. You know, and most of you would hold on if you could, but you probably wouldn't be able to. So all those people talking shit about Logan Paul, dude, he did his best. He had a brilliant game plan. I mean, it wasn't pretty, and of course it wasn't pretty. He's not an experienced, you know, fighter or contender, but considering where he's at, damn good. Bravo. He did a damn good job, and he kept himself together mentally extraordinarily well in that environment. I think a lot of people fold fold like a fucking cheap piece of paper, man. Like phenomenal job on Logan Paul's part. I really do believe this is an L for Mayweather. You can see it in the way he was conducting himself. No, he didn't lose the actual fight, but man, you let Logan Paul go all 8 rounds. If you're going to do this shit, Mayweather, stop fucking around. Take it seriously. Take your opponent seriously. You underestimated him. Admit it. And you keep on playing these games, man. Father Time's going to come rolling around, and you know, you're going to lose everything. You're going to lose everything. And this crazy lifestyle that he's maintaining and all this money he's spending, you know, nobody's going to want to see his shit anymore. And I don't even know if people are going to want to see his shit after this. I think a lot of people were disappointed in this fight. But yeah, man, that's my opinion on this. I'm bummed out. I don't know if this is good for boxing or not. I don't mind it if Mayweather goes into these things and he takes it very seriously and displays his boxing abilities, but he's not even doing that. And he got his payday, man, but he's flirting. He's flirting just like the Paul brothers. They're starting to dip their toes into the real shit and flirt around with fighting real good fighters. Mayweather is dipping his toes into this fight game again, and you know, he keeps fucking around. Father Time's gonna catch up, and it's gonna be very sobering for him, and it's not worth compromising his whole career that he just put together, which was extraordinary. Yeah, so it's your boy HB with Final Round, Drop Time Boxing. Get at me. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think of how it all went down, who you thought won, or your opinions of both fighters. And if you can, subscribe, hit the like button, man. I'll deeply appreciate it. I'm an up-and-coming fighter myself, and I'm hoping to get my career started soon here. But I appreciate the love and support, man. Get at me.